6-minute video that will teach you something that will work wonderfully with students. Hi there, welcome back to Education Cafe Canada. If you're new, welcome. My name is Shari and I am a retired special education specialist and guidance counselor. And I'm here to help you with your students and to make your job a lot easier. At least I hope it does. Now, if your students can't find their notes, then they can't study from them. And in many classrooms, this is exactly a problem. So today I'm going to share some simple ways to teach your students how to organize their notes, whether they use binders, if they use a laptop. And these are things that actually work in the classroom. Students have to understand that organization is a skill. It's not something that you're born knowing how to do. It's not a personality trait. Aside, I am going to mention the fact that research does show that there is a stronger connection between writing notes and your memory versus just taking, something off a digital tool. But I will leave that with you. You can decide how to work that best with your students. Okay, we're going to start with old school style, which is of course a binder. It's still a very effective way of doing things, especially if they're set up properly. And the first thing that I am going to recommend is that you use dividers or tabs. Each course gets its own section. It's clearly labeled. And I know it sounds obvious, but many students skip it. If you don't have those tabs, you don't have a system. It's going to get some pushback, I warn you now. But you want students to put a table of contents behind each of those tabs. And every time they add a document into their binder, they should put a page number on it, write the title, and record it in the table of contents. It is tedious, it is boring, but when they need to find something like an open book test, it becomes a lifesaver. So when you are starting your course, your semester, what have you, first off, after they put the tab in, they're going to put in the course syllabus. And the reason for that is because it's going to give them their due dates, it's going to show the expectations, and it's going to be the roadmap for your course. Now, ideally, they should also be taking the dates from that syllabus and putting them into their agenda, whether it's a book, whether it's an app. And again, it's worth it for you to sit down with them at the beginning and start creating these processes. Now, if you are at a school that is totally digital, or online courses or what have you, you're going to want to talk to your students about creating the same sort of method, but in a digital form. So first off, they want to create a master folder for each term. Under that, they're going to have one folder per course, and then inside each of those course folders, they're going to have not only one for each module, but I always like to have one that's called housekeeping. You can name it something else if you prefer. In that housekeeping folder, that's where the syllabus is. That's where, if there were any permission forms, waivers, things that you need completed, they go there as well. And of course, some course information. So it's really the behind the scenes folder that's the engine behind the course. You may think your students know how to save files properly, but don't make any assumptions, okay? Sorry. What they need to be shown is how to name the file, how to choose the correct folder to put it into, and actually save their work in the right place. Because it's on the computer somewhere, as we all know, is not a system. The upside to having it digitally is that if they're organizing their file folders well, they won't need a table of contents because the formatting is the table of contents. The real challenge that you will have as a teacher with all of this is not that it's hard, it's just that it's boring. And boring are things that students don't want to do. Heck, we don't want to do it either. So what you want to do as a teacher is build some time into your class, or not every class necessarily. you know your students, I don't, but you want to do that, build in some time so that they can organize this. Check occasionally that it's actually being done, and of course reinforce the habit. And you can do that in all kinds of ways. You can actually have little rewards for it. You can just tick it off on a piece of paper or whatever, certificates. You know all those little tricks and tips, because only if it's maintained is it actually organized. So at the end of the day, it's not really about whether it's binders or folders or electronic or paper. It's about giving your students a system so they can find what they need when they need it. And once you've experienced that kind of success, students are more likely to start doing this on their own. But do know you're going to have to spend a fair amount of time reinforcing it, but it's definitely worth your while so that you don't have students wasting class time going through rolled up papers in the bottom of their backpacks. So if you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, because I will be creating more of these little short videos, especially in executive functioning, so that you can quickly find things you need in order to help support your students. Share it with other teachers. Why not, right? I look forward to seeing you next time.